A lot of people think negotiation is all about bargaining. It's about, no, the price is 3,000, I think it's 2,000, no, let's meet in the middle, where it is. That's actually probably the last 5% of negotiation. I'm going to talk about the 3 things that will help you in every negotiation. Whether you're negotiating for a deal, whether you're purchasing a new home, buying a new car, and also help you in life in general. Number 1, learn to listen empathetically. What does that mean? Every day we have hundreds of conversations with different people. We're shooting DMs, we're writing text messages, and you're having all that communication. But when are you really listening? And in a negotiation, it is so important to listen, really understand what the other individual is looking for in that negotiation. This is a goal that I want to achieve this year and every year, is to become a better listener, become an active listener. A lot of times we're listening, there are different levels of listening. You can search that online. They're listening, basically ignoring, you're saying but you're not really listening. Or you have the type of listening where you are listening, but you're trying to come up with responses or attacks back into, or your debate, your perspective, without really listening to the other person and understanding them from their shoes, understanding their interests. So start listening and try to tell yourself every time when you're listening to a friend, listening to a negotiation partner, listening to anyone, is what are they really thinking? What are they trying to achieve in this conversation? What are they saying? Where are they standing in their shoes? Once you have that, you'll become a better listener, and then you can understand people better. And that is such an important thing in negotiation, is to really understand the other party, what they want to achieve. The second thing in negotiation, preparation. A lot of people think negotiation is all about bargaining. It's about, no, the price is 3,000, I think it's 2,000, no, let's meet in the middle, where it is. That's actually probably the last 5% of negotiation. You're really doing that at the end. But the 95% of negotiation is actually preparation, research, understanding what your alternatives are, and understanding the interests of the other individual. So when you go into a negotiation, instead of going straight to the price and not understanding what, I'm just giving out an example, it doesn't have to be price, it could be a percentage of equity, it could be anything else. You should not go straight into the number. You should really understand what the other individual is trying to achieve. Sometimes you guys have common interests, and you can find those common interests and focus on that. For example, for my partner and I, we have a common interest of building a successful venture and scaling that venture. So we have to focus on how we can both win in this situation, rather than, oh, I'm going to try to take away from you or otherwise. So again, don't focus on the bargaining part of the last 5%, but focus on the 95% of doing your research, figuring out what the market price is, doing your research on your negotiation partner. What are they offering? They want to achieve out of it, and focus on that part before you get into the price and figuring out that, because that's really the last 5%. Number 3 is actually a myth. Number 3, people talk about, hey, you should never make the first offer in a negotiation. I disagree. I think you should make knowledgeable decisions by having a great discovery process. Talk about understanding what the market price is, talk about what you guys are achieving, and it's okay to be the first person to come up with a number. You should always set a goal in your negotiation, a target, and the worst case scenario, which is hopefully it's a break even. It's the number that you will accept, in the worst case scenario. You should always come into a negotiation with those 3 numbers in your mind. So again, it's a goal, a target, and break-even point. Goal is what you strive for in that negotiation. Your target is what you probably end up with. Your break-even is the point that you never want to get to. But if it's in the worst-case scenario, that you will settle for. Because if everybody has a concept of, oh, I'm never going to make the first offer, then it doesn't make any sense. You don't want to be wasting your time. So it's okay to make the first offer, as long as it's a knowledgeable offer. You should understand already, like what I talked about. You understand what your BATNA is, what your best alternative number is, what your competitors are offering, what the individuals want, what their pricing in their mind is. Having all of those things already in your mind, then you can make your first offer. And that's okay, because you will know what the number is based on what your budget is, what your goals are. So it's okay to make that first offer. So these are the 3 things that really help me in my day-to-day life and also in negotiation. Is number 1, start listening to others actively, understand what their interests are. Number 2, do a better research and discovery process. Really understand and do as much research as possible on this case, in this scenario, what the house is worth, how many rooms, what's the square footage, what's the revenue of this business, who are the team members behind it. Do all your due diligence. Number 3, make sure you set your goal, target, and break-even point, those 3 numbers before you go into any negotiation. Hopefully these 3 things will help you in your next negotiation, whether you're negotiating a contract, whether you are buying a new house, buying a new car. And you can also utilize those skills to build a better relationship with your friends, with your lover, with your family, by really understanding where they're coming from. Because in this day and age, we talk so much, we communicate so much, but we're not really listening. And we want to become better listeners. I want to become a better listener, so let's do that together. See you guys next time.